Hey there everybody, today we're going to be going over the perk classes. These perk classes unlock when you are level 45. You'll have the choice between two of them, and then once you complete those two, it actually unlocks an additional two based on each branch. So there's four specialized ones and two beginner ones. Um, these perks unlock at level 45. Before then, you won't really get to know a lot about them, but once you reach them, this video will kind of give you the information needed to help you determine which one better suits you and your game style. So the first thing you would need to know is that this information is all found in this command college. That's the purplish building with the little building icon above it. So once you reach level 45, you'll be able to click into this, and you will see a screen similar to this, except for yours will look a lot more like this, where it's all grayed out. Um, these other two tabs up at the top, the specialized perk and general perk, will not be there on yours until you complete the basic perk. The two basic perks are Combat Elite and Mechanical Master. And they both have their own function, and they're both necessary for your alliance to do well in the game, but they definitely are not both for everybody. And what I mean by that is one of them's a lot more spendy, and it requires a lot more effort, whereas the other one's kind of can be a little more laid back, but it takes a little longer. So they kind of both have their perks. So we will go through these, and I'm going to pull up some charts for you guys. So this first uh, Excel sheet we're going to be looking at here is of the Combat Elite. So what this is going to show you here is this is showing you everything to do with Combat Elite. It tells you the totals, how long it takes, how many of the special items it takes, and all the research bonuses you receive. So you'll see over here on the right, to maximize Combat Elite, it takes about 87.8 days. So that's pretty much 88 days. It'll take 130 nameplates, and it'll take about 379 million resources of each type. Um, Now, in comparison to Mechanical Master, Mechanical Master takes 152 days. It also takes 130 of the items, so you'll see that both of those are the same, but you'll notice a big decrease in the amount of resources. It only takes 293 million resources, but it does take an additional, like, what is that, 65 to 70 days? 70 days, yep. So it takes about an extra 65 to 70 days. So you'll see that this one takes, or Mechanical Master takes a lot longer, but it's a lot less food and oil. And the only way to get that is to have extra marches or to purchase it through packs. So I'm going to quick jump back to the game here, and I'll show you the specialized items. These items can be obtained in a very, very wide variety of ways. The first one being buying them. The second one is you can find them in a lot of the stores. So you'll see in the Expedition store, down at the bottom, you will have these Elite nameplates and mechanical gears. The nameplates are for Combat Elite, the mechanical gears are for Mechanical Master. And you'll also see these class item chests where you can purchase two of them a day. Those are a choice. Once you click into those, you'll actually get your choice between the Elite nameplate or the mechanical gear. And I will show you that right now. So I purchased my one chest, and then I will go into my inventory. I will find my chest hiding in here. It is a purple item. You'll see it on my screen with the red dot right here. We will use it, and then you'll see you'll get your choice. You can open up to 99,999 of these at a time. That's the game limit, but I doubt a lot of people are ever going to have 9,999 of these chests. So all you have to do is click on the one you want. So you can see, you can click either one, hit OK, and then you obtain it. So that is those two items. You can obtain those in the Expedition store. You can also obtain them in the Legion store. So you'll see you'll have nameplate gear, nameplate gear. Then if we scroll down, you have nameplate gear, and then you have a class chest item. Those are kind of the two ways to get them. The Legion store is definitely a lot cheaper than the Expedition store, but you can get them in both spots. There also are packs that you can buy every day for them. those packs obviously cost real life money, whereas the 2 stores are free. So we're going to go back to our charts. So now we'll kind of discuss the difference of what you get with each. So we'll start with the Combat Elite. So the Combat Elite, you get a lot more player versus player or player versus environment type boosts. So you can see down at the bottom, you'll see you have your attacks, you have your HP, you have a damage stat right here for Dark Forces, which affects World Boss, just to let you guys know. And then you have training speed and repair speed, and then damage reduction to your troops. And then if you get attacked, you have a city attack. Your super rally, that adds a rally where you can have up to 20 people. The size is quite large. Obviously, the bigger your alliance research is, the larger the rally can be. And we can go into the game and I can show you where that is located. In your alliance tech, there is a mass rally research. This mass rally allows more amounts of units to join into the rally. So if you're going to be doing mass rallies, you'll want to maximize that research as fast as possible. So that is on the balance tab in the alliance tech. And then, so we were at super rally. Specialization is the final research. You have to do a quick 1 minute research to specialize, which is the 4 different specialized perks we'll recover later. And then you get a 5% increase to crit damage and crit hit percentage. So basically, how often it happens and how much damage you do with it. And then you get an additional additional rewards for Dark Forces. That ends up being like 3 tech chests, so it's not a lot. But if you're running a lot of Dark Forces in a day, it does start to add up, and it does help you get enough tech to not need to focus on Warhammers ever. So that kind of wraps up the Combat Elite. So now we'll go into Mechanical Master. Mechanical Master has a unit load 15%, so obviously you can carry more. Specialization, same as Combat Elite, where it's just kind of a final expensive but yet quick research. That usually, I believe it costs 32 million for both Combat Elite and Mechanical Master, but it only takes like 5 minutes for Mechanical Master. Then you get Oil Gather Speed, Food Gather Speed, and Gold Gather Speed, all 10%. If you think about that, that means you're going to be gathering a lot more oil and food faster. With that, you're also able to build these barns. And now how these barns work is you send your march to a tile, and it takes a pre-closed amount of time. I believe it's a half hour, if I'm not mistaken. I was never a mechanical master, so I wasn't exactly sure on that time. But what you can do is you can create these barns. And then there's also refineries that you can create. And in these, your entire alliance can gather at a much increased speed. And you'll see here's a gold mining facility, the same thing. And then here's a refinery, the same thing. And you're able to gather at a much faster speed. Currently in the game, these are the fastest way to gather your resources. So you may think going to a regular tiles faster or not, or going to the runes tiles are faster. It is not. It is these buildings. The downside to these buildings is they only last 8 hours. So if you're somebody that's going to try to get into one before you sleep, you either need to create your own to be sitting in it while you go to sleep and while it creates, or you need to find a very, very fresh one. And you can see on them how long they last. So this one right here, oops, I apologize for that. This one right here, you can see that the timer left on it is 31 minutes, 21 seconds. The capacity, these do have a capacity limit, but through research, I don't think we've ever even gotten close to that capacity. And they do have a durability of 2000, meaning that they can be destroyed by enemy alliances, but it takes a lot. And if you have a lot of people in there, it's also like they have to fight through a rally. And you can see at the output 151k per hour, I believe that it goes off of. So that's quite a lot. Um, and that's the same with all of those. They're all very productive when it comes to that. Some things you do get still, you still get your HP for all three: Navy, Air Force, and Army. Here we go. You still get your HP for all three of them. You still also get the damage reduction for all three of them. And you still do get the attack for all three of them. So it's not like you're not getting war stats, you're just not getting all the advanced stuff for the war stats. You still get a 15% march speed. You get a 15% gold protection. So if you're attacked and you lose, you do lose gold in this game, but this prevents 15% more of it from being taken. You do get a 10% overall gather speed. So that means not only do you get a 10% per type of resource, you also get the 10% overall. And that kind of covers everything here. So now one of the things I wanted to point out is you are actually able to, for 10,000 gems, switch between the two classes. So what that means is, say you decide you don't want to be Mechanical Master anymore, for 10,000 gems you can go and click and you can become Combat Elite. And vice versa. You can go from Combat Elite to Mechanical Master whenever you want for 10,000 gems. So for a lot of people, you can see how these two things differ. So you can see that this one takes a lot less days to do, but it takes a lot more resources. Whereas this one takes a lot more days to do, but it takes a lot less resources. Now, when you do switch between the two classes, you get all the time back, all the items back, and all the resources back. And they do flip. So any that you have used, this does not include the ones in your backpack. Those ones do not switch. But any that you have used, so if you used all 130 gears, they would become 130 Combat Elite nameplates. You would get all 293 million food back. You would get 152 days of speed ups. So if you think about this, if you start as Mechanical Master and you just rack up all the resources with your increased percentages, you can make up the difference in resources. So the 100 million resources, about 90 million in resources, you would get extra days of research back. So you'd have an extra 65 to 70 days. You'd have all the nameplates ready to go into Combat Elite. Plus, you don't really have a lot of different perks when it comes to your attacking type stuff, your player versus player, player versus environment type stuff. So my suggestion to everybody would be to start as Mechanical Master until you have completed the whole thing. And then make sure you get your extra 100 million food and oil, and then flip over to Combat Elite if that's what you choose to stay as. You'll see in my next video, there's 4 specialized perks, 2 for each. I might do 2 videos. We'll see how things go, where you can further that and kind of decide when you want to flip. I did want to point out that a lot of people want to choose Combat Elite because down the road there's something where you do get to research a third hero and have him in your marches. This is kind of just a quick overview of what that takes after you've done the 2 basic class perks. So this is additional onto those other 2 screens. So you'll see this takes almost 595 days, 1,600 nameplates, which means you have to be buying at least 3 nameplates a day, and a lot of food and resources, or an oil. So just kind of a quick thing for you to think about when you're making your decision. Like I said, I wish I had known about this and been able to have all this information in front of me before I started, because I definitely would choose Mechanical Master, and I would ride that until I had enough everything, until I could flip straight from Mechanical Master, complete Combat Elite, and then even make it so I just jump straight to my third hero, because the amount of food and oil you gain having these boosts is a lot. If you're thinking 10% of this, all you have to do is move 1 decimal point, and this is an extra 30 million food you would gather to, if that's how much you gather. So if you gather 293 million food, you would gather another 30 million of that. So technically, if you gathered that much food, you'd have an additional you'd have 320 million. So it's just kind of something to think about. You get to choose what you want. You have to choose your style of play. Combat Elite does get a lot more expensive down the road once you start doing the specialized perks, whereas Mechanical Master, you kind of gain all the stuff. The only thing you're struggling with is the speed ups. So with that, I'm going to call it a wrap. I hope you have a great day. Please like and subscribe, and see ya.